Sixers win it! Wow!
Oh, man, Embiid just posterized Russell Westbrook.
You love the Philadelphia Eagles! Let me get a hell yeah!
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Party On Broad. It is Deibs, Mr. Crockpot on Twitter. If you guys are watching us here at the Painted Lines YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, guys. The Party On Broad pod can be found on iTunes and Spotify. Drop those 5 stars, leave a review. Joining us today is the Austin Krell. He is Krell TPL on Twitter. And check out the Feed to Embiid podcast, covers Sixers and general NBA. What's going on, Austin?
Just thinking about Obi Toppin.
All right. Also joining us today is Thiago. Follow him on Twitter at tscabby. How you doing, Thiago?
I am not thinking about Obi Toppin because I don't want to torture myself.
My God, we have become anti-Toppin cult followers here. My God.
We're not talking about Obi Toppin today. We are talking about one of my personal favorite prospects in the entire draft. It is Jalen Smith. Today we're going to talk about his college performance. We're going to talk about his strengths, his weaknesses, and who we think are the best team fits in the NBA draft. Let's talk a little bit about Jalen Smith and where he's coming from. Jalen Smith was an elite talent coming out of high school out of Mount St. Joseph. He was a McDonald's All-American, a 5-star recruit, according to 24/7. ESPN, and Rivals. He chose Maryland over Villanova, Virginia, Duke, and Arizona. Jalen Smith grew up a Terps fan, and it was kind of like a dream come true for this guy going to Maryland. Jalen had a strong freshman season at Maryland. He started all 33 games. He averaged 12 and 7. He showed flashes, and then we just became a double-double machine last year. From the jump, he was a Big Ten all-freshman team that freshman year. He won Big Ten Freshman of the Week 3 times, and he was a finalist for the Karl Malone Power Forward of the Year and Naismith Player of the Year awards his sophomore year. So he's got a ton of awards. He was named AP Third-Team All-American, First-Team All-Big Ten. This guy was just a machine on the glass. He had 21 double-doubles in 31 games. His combination of defense and perimeter skills, it just personally makes him one of my favorite prospects in this entire draft. All right. After a slow start in November and December, Jalen Smith's shooting and efficiency were just off the charts. He was really setting himself up for a really strong NCAA tournament. This guy was second in the Big Ten in defensive win shares. He had 2.4 blocks per game. He had an 8.2% block percentage, which was good for third in the Big Ten. So second best offensive rating, number 1 effective field goal percentage. He was one of the most efficient players in the NCAA. He had the third best player efficiency rating at 29.3. So, this guy on offense and defense, efficiency-wise, was just lights out. He was an analytic dream. Thiago, what's the strength of Jalen Smith?
Yeah, I'm a big Jalen Smith fan as well, and I just love the way that Maryland uses him. They don't really just set him in a corner or put him in the post and have him just stand there wait for the ball. Maryland's a high movement offense. They love to pass the ball around, cut, do all those types of actions, and Jalen Smith fits right into their offensive scheme. He did about 25% of his possessions came through cuts and backdoor action, and he ranked pretty high in those particular plays. So for me, Jalen Smith is the guy who can really get to the rim in a variety of ways and really fall within the team scope. I like him in a place where he's able to kind of move around, spot up in the corner, and perhaps do a little bit pick and pop and so forth. So for me, it's just his ability to just not be just a stationary player and really move around within the offensive scope.
All right. How about you, Austin?
So for Jalen Smith, I agree with a lot of what Thiago said. I think one of the signs that he's actually kind of, I guess you could say, trimmed the fat a little bit. And I mean that in not like he was fat, but like he's been coached well. And his game has been sort of rubbed down by salt or sandpaper. Is that he uses ball fakes well. You don't see a lot of prospects really use ball fakes well and utilize them efficiently. Villanova does it really well. Shadow Cats. And he could have been a Wildcat, but no. And I think he has a really nice second jump and second burst, where if he gets if he jumps too early, he can get right back up. It'll help him with offensive boards and getting tip-ins and putbacks. I think he'll really help him become a really good offensive rebounding issue for opponents.
Yeah, Jalen Smith's ability to switch on defense, defend the pick and roll, play a small ball 5, and be a threat on the perimeter with his jump shot is kind of the ticket here. This guy is just a real perfect fit for the modern NBA. He might be 6'10", but his talents and skill set go well beyond the paint. He's an inside-outside guy. He's got great touch around the basket, but he actually can, make a three pretty consistently. And those real perimeter skills, man. This guy has one of the more diverse skill sets in the draft. He shot 36.8 from three, 75% from the free throw line. He's got a face-up game. He can stretch the court. So, just in terms of tools, this guy is just amazing. And the fact that you could probably get him in that late first round, man, this guy is just ticks all the boxes for me for guys. Me personally, because I love two-way guys. And this guy, Jalen Smith, is a really, really interesting prospect. Let's talk a little bit about Jalen Smith's weakness. Go ahead, Thiago.
Yeah, so my fear with Jalen Smith is he's going to end up in a place where you have an old school coach who's going to turn him into a center. And he just does not have the functional strength to play the position. I think of guys like Embiid and Jokic, if they'll just back him right under the rim and just stuff him in with the ball. So I think that he doesn't have that type of versatility to be an anchor on defense. I think you touched on it. He does have some rim protection. He can kind of, defend multiple positions. But if you turn him strictly to a anchor of your defense type center, I think he's going to struggle, and he's going to find that the physicality of the NBA game is going to be a little bit too much for him to handle.
What about you, Austin?
Thiago actually stole mine.
Yeah.
He needs to add up her body strength for sure. And I think, at the next level, like right now, he's 6'10", 215, I believe. And I think, Obi Toppin's like 6'9", 220. So he's a little bit underweight for a big. I think right now he'll be susceptible to just getting bruised up in the paint and getting battered. But I think a lot of big men are like that. Except for really like Joel Embiid, but hey, and Shaq, and other great ones. I guess we have to conclude that Embiid's your right center. Anyway, he's going to get battered early on in his career, and I think once he bulks up, he's going to be a really tough matchup. But for now, if you're looking for immediate weaknesses, not big enough yet. Not big enough. He has to add mass.
I fully agree. It's strength is one of the biggest things holding this guy back. That's everything, throwing him into some sort of weight program, nutrition, whatever. So absolutely right. And, he can be a little turnover prone. He has a kind of a low basketball IQ. So just, refining his skills at the next level is really important. Let's talk about best fits.
Too long didn't watch version of this would be stupid. Needs to hit him over the head. Please get him some Nutrisystem. That's all.
Oh, Austin. All right. What are some best fits for Jalen Smith? Go ahead, Thiago.
I go right to a post KD Golden State Warriors team, and I don't know how they can get this guy because I don't think they have a pick at the back end of the first round, and I think that's where he's going to end up.
Draft him top 5.
Draft him ahead of Obi Toppin.
Oh my god!
I would definitely do. No, I just think of the pick and pop game with Steph Curry would be very interesting. And again, that's a team that post KD should go back to their ball movement, high passing offense. And I think Jalen would fit right into that slot. They're very progressive with the way they think about lineups and so forth. And I think a team like that is a perfect environment for Jalen to really come in, grow into the team without many high expectations to start and kind of take off from there.
How about you, Austin?
I think the Lakers would be a really interesting fit.
Yeah.
Maybe you slide in AD at the 5, or maybe you try to grow Jalen Smith into a center. I think there's a lot of interesting potential there. They would certainly impose on a lot of teams. They'd be tough as hell to get to to beat to the basket. And I think it would be a chance for LeBron to have like two very good bigs, like the first time in his at least that I can remember. And it would maybe change the dynamic of how they play. And who knows? I mean, AD is never going to be expendable per se, but who knows? Maybe you feel like you can go in a different direction.
Do you think that AD would be okay playing center? That's the question, I think.
That's up to AD.
He's pretty adamant about like not playing center with the Lakers.
Well, then you got to slide our good friend Jalen Smith to the 5.
Yeah.
But I mean, LeBron's playing like LeBron's playing point guard. I mean, I don't see why why you can't have everything else. Doesn't make any sense. So you might as well just have it with the 5.
Yeah, I went with the Boston Celtics. I fully agree, Thiago. I think this guy would be bullied as a small ball 5, but you look at the Boston Celtics, they definitely need front court depth. Enes Kanter, as a player option this season. The Celtics are just in the middle of the league in terms of rebounding. Jason Tatum nearly led the team in rebounds per game. So I think the Celtics will probably look to add in that front court, and they have 2 picks in the mid to and late first round that I think would be like a perfect fit for Jaylon Smith. So yeah, that's a little bit on Jaylon Smith. How about the Sixers? Thiago, do you see Jaylon Smith as a potential Sixers pick at number 22?
He's a power forward. Hello.
Do I see it? Absolutely. I think that's it. Yeah. That is 1A or 1B on Elton Brand's list for sure. Would I pick him at 22? I would consider it.
It's like that meme of the guy walking with the One Direction with one girl. He has his head turned. It's like Elton Brand, but like he's walking with like a traditional guard that can both shoot and dribble. What's back? Another power forward.
Give me the 6'10" guy.
I'm all for it. Let's get it. Another one.
That's awesome.
I would consider him at 22. I think that I like his shot a lot. I think that he can come in and perhaps slot in as a backup stretch 4. It goes back to the same question. Is like, great, you have another guy who can stretch the court as a power forward, but who can get him the ball is the question that I would ask.
You're going to need to start stacking. You're going to need to start creating space in the court by literally just stacking the bigs. So we're going to put Jalen Smith on Joel's shoulders, and then that'll count as one. As 2 guys. A lot more space in that way. A lot more height. I mean, I guess in like theory it would be an okay fit, but like you don't need another fucking big guy. You have all of them in the league by now. You could basically just like it's ridiculous. We're like the Knicks, but better.
I like the fit. I think Jalen Smith is a really good fit for the Sixers, especially if they can find a guy that can score off ball in that top of the second round. So you pair a guy like Jalen Smith with maybe a Tyrell Terry, in that top of the second round. That would be a perfect draft for the Sixers, in my opinion. Al Horford thing is a complete disaster. Who knows where he's going to be next season? Go ahead, Austin. I think you're going to talk a little bit about Al Horford here.
Perfect fit, a perfect draft for me. If you clone Jordan Nwora and then drafted him 3 times.
Oh my God. All right, let's wrap this up. That is Austin. Follow him on Twitter at CrowdTPL. Check out the Feed to Embiid on Twitter at the Feed to Embiid. And that is my man Thiago. Follow him on Twitter at TScabia for Austin, for Thiago, for myself. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay awesome.
Pretty soon it's going to be the Feed to Jordan Nwora. Even if he plays in the G League or like on a different team, it's going to be just the Feed to Jordan Nwora.
That is at the Feed to Jordan Nwora on Twitter. Austin, stay awesome.
Swing and a miss. Struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008
Sixers win it! Wow! Oh man, Embiid just posterized Russell Westbrook.
You love the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me get it.